Money has a strange way of wearing costumes. Sometimes it arrives wrapped in velvet, sometimes sealed in matte black boxes, sometimes stamped with a logo that whispers status before it ever proves value. Factories don't dream. They repeat. Steel arms move in silence, creams are poured, circuits are soldered, boxes slide down the same conveyor belt, identical in weight, identical in substance, until a name is pressed on the surface. And suddenly one is premium, one is luxury, one is exclusive. Price tags rise, belief follows. Markets remember what consumers forget. Value is rarely created where the spotlight shines. It's created where no one is looking, behind contracts, supply chains, and psychology. So if the product is the same, what exactly are you paying for? Welcome to the $1 trillion illusion economy, an invisible system hiding in plain sight, shaping what we buy, what we trust, and how much we're willing to overpay for certainty. This is the world of white labeling. At its core, white labeling is simple. One manufacturer produces a generic product and dozens, sometimes hundreds, of different brands buy that exact same product, place their logo on it, and sell it at wildly different prices. Same factory, same materials, same production line, different story. This model quietly dominates modern commerce. From electronics and kitchen gadgets to skincare, supplements, clothing, and even luxury goods, white labeling sits beneath the surface of global consumer markets. It's efficient, it's scalable, and it's extraordinarily profitable. Nowhere did this become more visible than during the pandemic-era e-commerce boom. As millions of people turned to Amazon, a flood of new brands appeared overnight. Massage guns, LED lights, blenders, phone accessories. But investigations revealed a striking truth. Nearly 90% of these brands were reselling identical products sourced from the same Alibaba suppliers, differentiated only by packaging, branding, and price. The illusion wasn't accidental. It was designed. Because the real power in modern business no longer lies in manufacturing. It lies in perception, in who controls the narrative, the shelf space, the influencer, the promise. Products became interchangeable, belief did not. And once you understand that, you begin to see that the most valuable companies in the world aren't selling things. They're selling meaning. This illusion didn't begin with influencers or Instagram ads. It began with efficiency. In the decades after World War II, global manufacturing underwent a quiet transformation. Factories learned that scale was power. If you could produce one product in massive volume, you could lower costs, stabilize quality, and eliminate risk. What manufacturers lacked, however, was access to consumers. Branding, distribution, and trust lived elsewhere. So a silent partnership formed. Manufacturers would focus on making. Brands would focus on meaning. This was the seed of white labeling, an invisible architecture built not on deception, but on economics. A factory producing a shampoo formula, a circuit board, or a cotton t-shirt could sell the same output to multiple buyers. Each buyer layered on their own identity, pricing strategy, and story. In the early days, this model was mostly utilitarian. Supermarkets sold generic cereal. Pharmacies sold store-brand medicine. Consumers understood the trade-off: fewer frills, lower prices. But something changed. As globalization accelerated in the 1990s and early 2000s, manufacturing migrated to specialized hubs: China, Vietnam, Italy, South Korea, places where factories became extraordinarily good at one thing. Not 10 things, one thing: skin creams, plastic housings, athletic fabric, precision motors. At the same time, branding evolved from identification to aspiration. Logos stopped telling you who made something. They started telling you who you were. A blank t-shirt cost $2 to produce. The same shirt from the same factory could sell for $8 or $80. The difference wasn't cotton, it was confidence, identity, belonging. And quietly, brands realized something unsettling. They didn't need to own factories. They didn't even need to understand manufacturing. They just needed control over perception. That early decision to separate production from identity would shape everything that followed. Because once products became interchangeable, power shifted away from those who built things and toward those who controlled the story told about them. The foundation was set, and the illusion was ready to scale. The real acceleration came when technology removed the final barrier: access. By the late 2000s, platforms like Alibaba, global sources, and later Amazon FBA collapsed the distance between factories and brands. What once required years of sourcing, travel, and capital could now be done in weeks with a laptop and a logo. This wasn't innovation. It was replication at scale. A single factory in Shenzhen could manufacture a Bluetooth speaker for $6. That exact speaker, same circuitry, same casing, same defects, would appear online under 40 different brand names, priced anywhere from $19 to $129. The difference wasn't quality, it was positioning. Then came the pandemic. Supply chains froze, physical retail collapsed, and e-commerce exploded. Between 2020 and 2022, Amazon saw millions of new sellers enter the marketplace. Analysts later estimated that nearly 90% of new consumer brands in categories like electronics, home goods, and fitness were white-labeled products, sourced directly from the same overseas manufacturers. The marketplace became a mirror maze. Search results filled with identical items, photographed at different angles, wrapped in different promises. Bestseller, editor's pick, premium quality, limited stock. Behind the scenes, something else was happening. Capital noticed. Private equity firms and brand aggregators began buying these white-label businesses in bulk, not for their products, but for their data, rankings, and attention funnels. A company wasn't valued by what it made, but by how efficiently it could capture clicks and convert belief into margin. Luxury followed the same path, just more quietly. In skincare, fragrance, and cosmetics, the myth of artisanal formulation cracked open. Investigations revealed that many high-end brands didn't own labs at all. Instead, they relied on contract manufacturers, companies like the Italian firm Intercos, which produces formulas for luxury houses, celebrity brands, and mass-market labels alike. A $100 celebrity moisturizer and a $15 drugstore cream often come from the same production run. Same VAT, same base formula, up to 95% identical ingredients. The divergence happens after the fill, packaging, fragrance tweaks, marketing budgets. Boardrooms understood something critical. Control the brand, and you control the price. Control the price, and you control perception. Manufacturing became a footnote. The illusion became an asset. And once that shift happened, the system was no longer optimized for better products. It is optimized for better stories. The most powerful part of this system isn't the factory. It's the margin. At the heart of white labeling sits a silent lever: brand equity. The invisible value attached to a name, a logo, a feeling. It's why a consumer will pay $80 for a t-shirt with a swoosh, but hesitate at $8 for the same blank shirt from the same factory. This isn't irrational, it's engineered. Brands invest not in production, but in psychology. Colors are tested, fonts are optimized, packaging weight is adjusted so the box feels substantial. Matte finishes signal seriousness. Magnetic closures imply precision. The unboxing experience becomes a ritual designed to justify a 500% markup before the product is even used. Then there's pricing architecture. A white-labeled product might cost $5 to manufacture, $3 to ship, and $2 to store. At $10 landed cost, it sells for $60, not because it's better, but because the price itself becomes proof of quality. High price reduces doubt. It filters the audience. It creates perceived scarcity. And sometimes the system flips. Consider Costco's Kirkland signature, a masterclass in reverse psychology. Costco doesn't manufacture anything. Instead, it partners with top-tier brands, Starbucks for coffee, Duracell for batteries, Grey Goose-level distillers for vodka, and pays them to produce the same product under the Kirkland label. The difference: Kirkland strips out advertising. The name brand charges you for marketing, celebrity endorsements, and shelf dominance. Kirkland passes those savings back to the customer. Same quality, lower price, thinner illusion. In both cases, luxury or value, the mechanism is identical. Only the story changes. Profit doesn't live in the product. It lives in what you believe about the product. And belief, once established, scales infinitely. Every purchase is a small vote. Not just for a product, but for a system. When you buy a brand, you're often buying reassurance that you made the right choice, that you belong to a certain tier. For workers, this system creates distance. The hands that assemble, pour, stitch, and solder are rarely acknowledged. Factories remain anonymous, interchangeable, pressured to reduce costs while brand value compounds elsewhere. Wages stay flat. Output increases. Identity is stripped at the point of production and reattached at the point of sale. For consumers, the effect is more subtle and more powerful. White labeling reshapes how people understand value. Over time, price stops reflecting materials or labor and starts reflecting narrative. People learn to trust symbols over substance. Logos become shortcuts for safety, status, and self-expression. And slowly, decision-making moves from logic to emotion. Every paycheck carries history. Every purchase echoes a decision made decades ago. This system doesn't create villains or heroes. It creates behavior. It rewards those who master perception. It marginalizes those who only produce. And it teaches society that success isn't about making better things. It's about making things feel better. Even identity becomes modular. You don't buy a product. You rent a version of yourself. And the illusion works because it's comfortable. Because questioning it means admitting how often we confuse price with worth, branding with quality, and visibility with value. We are not tricked. We are trained. The journey from factory floor to luxury shelf is not a straight line. It's a story layered with psychology, efficiency, and power. The same product can be cheap or premium, invisible or iconic, depending entirely on the narrative wrapped around it. The $1 trillion brand illusion isn't about deception. It's about design. A system built to scale belief faster than reality, to reward those who control attention rather than production, and to quietly shape how the world defines quality, success, and worth. So the next time you see a logo, a price tag, a promise, pause. Ask what part of that cost went into the product, and what part went into the story. Because the most valuable thing you own may not be what you bought, but what you believe. If this changed how you see the marketplace, share your thoughts below. Subscribe for more deep dives into the hidden systems behind money and power. The story isn't over. It's still being manufactured.